Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to this space. It's probably been like just a week since I've recorded or talked to y'all, but welcome back to this space. Hope you guys are enjoying your days, and you have a familiar face, my good sis, Sarri. And we put on our social medias for you guys to ask us some questions, and we're going to try to answer. We didn't get to all of them, but we're going to answer to the most of our ability. I said to the most of our ability. We're going to answer
to the best of our ability.
To the best of our ability. The best of our ability. So yeah, we're going to get started. So the first one, and this was a couple people asked this: how did we meet, and how long have we been friends?
So you mean?
Yeah.
So we met in middle school, 5th grade, 8 years.
Yes, that's true. We met at Glen. Well, we didn't really necessarily be like, oh, hey, my name's Simone, I'm Sarri. We just became friends. And we was honestly all in a group. It was me and Sarri and then 2 other girls. And we was in a group at first, and we were all just so close. But then as middle school went on, me and Sarri obviously had our other sets of other best friends, but anytime me and Sarri saw each other, it was just always that. It was never we just stopped talking. We always talked, regardless if we had other friends or not. But yeah, there are other questions.
Somebody said they've been working on getting closer to God, and they feel like they on the right track, but they need to do more. What's some advice? So I would say consistency, and replacing your old habits with new good habits.
Consistency, that's a big one, seriously. And it's hard, but you really gotta be self-disciplined. And me and Sarri were just talking about this earlier, but I would honestly say, how I said in my first video, is that in order to start, you need to stop. And this is something that I still have to be reminding myself. In order to start those new habits, like Sarri was saying, and those new things that you're doing, try to get closer to God. What are the old habits or what are old things or barriers that you still do that is a blockage from you having a stronger connection with the Lord? You really got to sit and ask yourself with that, what are things that I'm doing that is probably hindering, whether it's social media, whether it's a substance, whether it's the people you're around, whether it's the things you're watching, the music you're listening to. You have to stop that certain stuff in order to build a close relationship with God. But I would honestly just recommend seeking Him. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing, and it's not going to be just something that happens all in a day, but you just continue to have to seek God, seek people that know the Lord, try going to a church family, listening to sermons, opening your word, using a Bible app. There's a lot of resources out there. You just really got to seek them for yourself. Okay.
How do we start our journey with God and understand the Bible? I guess this person been trying to read the Bible, but they be confused. So I would say the New Living Translation Bible?
NLT.
Yep. Because King James, that is confusing.
It can be. It works for some people.
Yeah. But the new one, that's how, I could understand it with the new one. But King James, I was just what? Sometimes. But,
yeah.
In our journey with God, I started back in October because I grew up in church and stuff, and I knew about God, but I was playing around, doing all type of stuff, and then I just got to the point where I was done, and I turned my life around. So yeah.
I started, like Sarri was saying, I've been in church, so I was probably 8 or 9. But really, honestly, anybody could be in church but not have a relationship with God. But my journey started, I feel where I really started to seek God was when COVID happened. Being isolated, that was a turning point for me, and that's where that was a whole turning point for me during COVID. But when the Lord calls it, and me and Sarri like finally sits down, separately on our own channels, we will be like sharing our testimonies. We don't know when that's gonna come out, but whenever like Jesus, like we're feeling called to, we're probably feeling called anytime. But Sarri also has a YouTube channel now. Definitely put that in the bio. But we will be sharing our testimonies soon, and to just kind of how the Lord has been working in our life, and He still is. So yeah, but her journey started in October, and mine started when COVID, when that whole came up, and we couldn't like go to grocery stores and school. In my room, that's where everything and encounters with the Lord and all that stuff happened. So definitely be sharing that. But yeah, and then what was the last question they said? Something about the Bible. What did they say?
Like they be trying to read it, but they be confused. So
okay. I would highly recommend the YouVersion Bible app. It's an app that they have in a Bible project where they like have stories that could.
I just downloaded that.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
And
Candace put me on. Candace put me on. But that's one of our guy friends. But he I mean, there are a lot of apps and resources that explain different stories of the Bible that might be confusing. There are a lot of resources. Like we were saying, you just really have to seek. You do. Yeah, but if y'all ever do like have any other questions or things that you recommend that me and Sarri do, like the type of Bibles we have, actually we'll put the link to the type of Bibles that we have in the bio, because Amazon be coming through. Like they have a lot of good stuff out there. You just gotta seek. So yeah, we'll have that.
You'll find.
Yes. We'll have those resources available to you guys. And then someone said, oh, how do you keep negative people out of your life when you've known them for years?
You can start.
Okay. So, this question was actually like, wow, because this is like happens in a lot of people's lives. Honestly, when me and Sarri was talking about this, we were saying that Peoria is kind of small for you to not run into anybody. Like, you just never know. Like, you can just run into people, and you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting to see that face type stuff, you know? So it's not like you can just literally run from them. But I would just definitely recommend praying for this person or praying for these people that could be somebody that you just feel like whenever you're around them, it's either negative or, you know, because in the Bible it does say that bad company corrupts good character. So it's definitely important to be mindful of the people that you're around, but we are also called to love everybody. Seriously, like we are really called to love everybody. And I would recommend just like having that difficult conversation with that person and sitting them down. And it's probably better face to face. I'm usually a texter and I avoid difficult conversations, which is not good. I'm trying to work on like really talking on the phone or saying it to people's face. But I think having a mature conversation with this person, like, hey, the things that you're doing, your actions, they're causing me to feel this way, and I just would appreciate it. And like y'all just talk about it. And if they are somebody that still isn't willing to listen and to hear you out and to change certain things, because you can't force somebody to change. You just kind of maybe have to, hey, I'm probably going to distance myself from you for a little bit. And it can't be like a 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You have to be serious about it. Like, hey, what you're doing is really affecting me, and definitely continue praying for them. I wouldn't recommend like just completely cutting that person out of your life and blocking them, but also putting up that boundary like, hey, I have to distance myself, but if you ever need something, I'm here. Or sometimes maybe, I don't know, distance is not bad though, I would say.
Yeah, because I was in that situation, and like I was in the middle of getting my life right with God, and like that person was like a distraction, and I was trying to tell them about God and stuff, but they just wasn't listening. So I just prayed about it, and yeah, I sent that little paragraph, and like Simone said, like you just tell them, you know, I guess boundaries, but I'm still here if you need me, but I just gotta distance myself.
Right, not as accessible as I was.
Yeah.
Right.
The sun beaming.
For real. And the next question is, what's one way that we have learned to trust in the Lord, even through the hardships? I'll go first. One way that I've trusted in the Lord, even through hardships, even when I'm like really going through it, is by being reminded that He is in control. Like, just being reminded that God sees all of it and He knows like what we're going through. And so like when I'm facing something where I'm probably having anxiety or fear or worry, I just be like, I really just try to hold on to that. God, you see what's going on. You are in control. You knew this was going to happen. Just give me the strength to endure it, and help me to lean on you and trust in you. So just being reminded, like reminding myself of God's truth, and being reminded of what His word says. That's one way that I've learned to trust Him, is by being reminded of who's in control.
Yeah, but for me, I just use my friends. Symone, I give her a call when I'm going through something. I'm like, I just pour out all my emotions. And she'll just calm me down, and yeah,
like accountability type stuff. And that's why I think it's important to have like community and stuff, and people that you can go to, because we wasn't meant to do life by ourselves. So definitely like having friends and people that encourage you is really good to have. Also, but like it's important to make sure that your friends isn't somebody that is like that you make your number one source, like, but more so they're a resource. So you know, go to God and pray to Him, and then hey, going to a friend, like, I'm really going through it. And that's good though. That's good, because having mentors and friends is like, without them I probably wouldn't even be how I am today. Your turn. Do you have another question or no?
Yeah, how did I stop smoking?
Okay. Can you repeat the question again? They probably didn't hear you.
How did you stop smoking? That's the last question for mine. But like when you smoke, it's just like, I don't know, people do it for different reasons. But when I used to smoke, I did it because of how I felt and what I was going through at the time, and like my past and stuff. But then I just, like, one day I just realized like it wasn't helping me, and like it was just like a temporary feeling, because like when it go away, all the emotions come back, all the pain come back. And then I feel like it was just a wake-up call for me to get back in my word and build a relationship with God. And with Symone on the side, like, she really did help me. And it's just good to have friends like that, because they praying for you and you don't even know.
Right.
But like praying for your friends, like, that really do help.
Right.
Because I had situations where I was praying for my friends or my brother or my family, and like it actually do work.
It do. So many stories.
So yeah, that's how I stopped. That's just like a little mini story, but
right.
Yeah,
that's part of like her whole testimony. Yeah. And so I haven't smoked before or anything like that, but I do want to also say that, like, honestly, when people like, when it's like when it comes to just like weed and stuff, like most of like my family did smoke or still do. I just also like, and just like also hearing like other podcasts and sermons, it's like the main question to ask yourself is, why do you smoke? Like, it's always, most of the time, like 99.9% of the time, there's an underlying issue to why you are choosing to smoke. Whether you are starting to get anxiety, or you're starting to stress, or you feel sad, or you feel upset, whatever it is, there is an underlying issue to why you are doing what you're doing. And then that, obviously, the weed starts to become your stronghold. Or it doesn't have to be weed. It can be your boyfriend. It can be alcohol. It can really be anything like this, like certain things that has you in a stronghold. And instead of you running to the Lord and running to God and seeking help, you're choosing to turn to this thing. And although by no means me and Sarri, we're not experts, and maybe we, like, I don't know, helps with like certain medical issues, but honestly, that's something between like that person and the Lord. We're not here to say more so of like, because we, you know, some people have medical issues with it, but then it's also too like, is smoking something that you turn to when you are feeling a certain way. Like, are you smoking something that you're going to, or are you going to God? So that's something that you really have to pray about. And we can honestly pray for you, whoever this person may be that's asking about it. And y'all could definitely like text me or Sarri. But Sarri has more experience and she can definitely like tell you about that. But I've just noticed and seen like what's the underlying issue to why you are smoking, or why you are watching that certain thing, or why you are turning to sex, or whatever it may be for you. Whatever it is, it's a stronghold, and it's keeping you in a bondage to where instead of you turning to God, you're turning to other things. So that's just our intake on that. But by all means, like we'll actually put our social, I don't think I ever did this, put my social media in a bio if y'all ever wanted to like text us about anything. And although we are still learning and God is still working on us and working on you, so we'll try to answer just to the best of our ability. And 2 questions are, how do we feel we are doing in life, and do you ever feel like you aren't doing enough? I feel like I'm doing good right now in life. There are my days where like I just have certain days where I probably don't feel the best, but like right now I'm doing pretty good in life. Like the sun is out. Even when the sun not out, it's okay, but I feel like I'm doing good in life. And do I ever feel like I'm not doing enough? I wouldn't necessarily put it in those words and say that I don't feel like I'm not doing enough, because honestly that's where grace comes in. Truly, like that's just where grace comes in. I feel like when it comes to my spiritual life, like not even spiritual life, like God is just a part of my life as it is, but like more so that like God isn't expecting me to be perfect and to have like this perfect routine. I mean, routines are good, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like that's where I be reminded of God's grace. Honestly, when I feel like I'm probably overwhelmed, I just be reminded that like, okay, Jesus, just help me to lean on you. I'm overwhelmed, or I'm feeling this way, help me to lean on you, type of thing. So I wouldn't necessarily say that I don't feel like I'm not doing enough, but when it's those times where I'm overwhelmed, I just be reminded of God's grace. Or when I feel like I just didn't talk to him, be reminded of his grace, because Jesus didn't die for no reason. So yeah. What about you? How do you feel like you're doing in life?
I think I'm doing good. I'm not where I want to be, but it takes time.
Yes.
And then, do I ever feel like I'm not doing enough? I would just say it's always room for improvement. And yeah.
Right.
I don't really have much to say on that one, but
that was a good question though. You guys asked some amazing questions. Like seriously, these were fire, and we love doing this. And we might just come up with an updated Q&A. Who knows? But yes, thank y'all for tuning into this space, and thanks for the questions. And again, please don't be hesitant to reach out to me or Sarri. Like, please, like we will love to just help you in your journey with God. And so yeah, we're still not perfect either, but so yeah. Do you have anything you want to say to our friends? Okay.
I don't really like talking like that.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll work on it. We'll work on it. No, I'm kidding. But thank y'all for tuning in for real. We hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day. It's really beautiful outside. So yeah, cold. It is cold, but like the sun is just beaming. It's beaming on your skin. It looks great. It does. Oh, she's so bushy. But okay, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll talk to y'all soon.